Okay, it's 7, so I'm gonna start. I don't think anyone else is coming. So let's go ahead and start in a Sukhasana easy pose, legs are crossed. If you have my playlist or your own playlist, you can go ahead and start that now. Option to sit up on a block or blanket to elevate your hips a little bit, allowing your thighs to waterfall down, releasing your hip flexors. And as you arrive in the space, hands can find your knees. Start to find some awareness in your breath. We'll start our class with 3 deep cleansing breaths, taking a inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth. Another inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. Taking one more inhale. And with your exhale, allowing your eyes to flutter closed or finding a soft gaze. Find yourself sitting up tall, energizing through the crown of your head. Allowing your breath to return to its natural pace and rhythm. Take a moment to check in with your physical body. Scanning gently from head to toe without judgment or the attempt to fix anything, just with observation and awareness. Notice any areas of comfort or discomfort, tension or ease. And when you're ready, taking a moment to check in with the quality of your thoughts. Again, with no judgment. If you'd like to slow down more tonight, I invite you to take more emphasis on your exhales, making them longer than your inhales. And if you need more energy tonight, if you're feeling sluggish, emphasizing your inhales, making them longer than your exhales. And finally, taking inventory of what you perceive to be your emotional or energetic body. Taking inventory of what you brought onto your mat this evening. Ask yourself, how do I feel in this present moment? Eventually bring your awareness back to your breath, noticing how it feels in your body. If it's deep or shallow, you're breathing more into your chest or your belly. And if you care to join me, we'll start cultivating Ujjayi breath. This is the victorious breath that will carry us through our practice, starting by taking an inhale through your nose. And exhale through your mouth as if you're fogging up a mirror. We'll take that one more time, inhaling through the nose. And exhale as if you're fogging up a mirror. Now finding that same tension in your back of the throat on both your inhales and your exhales, both through the nose. This breath is audible, allowing you to coordinate your movement with the breath and to keep your awareness with your breath throughout the practice. Take a moment to feel that breath in your body. Sending more breath into your belly, trying to fill up completely at a 360 way. Thinking of expanding all sides of your body with the inhale. And on the exhale, hugging your navel to spine to sip out any last air. If you'd like to join me, bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra prayer pose. Take a moment here to maybe set an intention for your practice tonight. I invite you every time we come back to this position with hands at heart center to come back to your intention and to come back to your breath. Using this to string each element of your practice together. And taking one more inhale and one more exhale here, setting your intention into place. When you feel ready, releasing hands to your knees, fluttering the eyes open, we'll start flowing. Walk your left fingers out to the side of your mat. Inhale, right arm up overhead, extending through fingertips. Maintain length in both sides of your body. Breath is flowing. Gaze can shift up towards your hand or down towards the mat to nurture your neck. Taking whatever feels good here, opening up through your rib cage, dialing pinky finger down. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to round your back, finding your right hand to your left knee. Inhale, left arm steps back behind you, finding a twist. Inhale to find length in your spine. Exhale to deepen the twist. You rotate your navel back towards the front of your mat. Finding twist from your tailbone up through the crown of your head. One more inhale. And one more exhale. On your next inhale, raising left arm up overhead, maintaining the twist. Gaze can look to your arm or down to the mat. Finding a side body stretch in this twist. Noticing how this might change your breath. You maintain energy through your fingertips. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to round forward, finding left hand to right knee, curling all the way over your legs. Inhale to slowly roll up to sitting, finding eagle arms with left arm crossed over the right. Take a moment here, pressing your hands away from your face, shoulders down, elbows lifted, opening your chest, maybe gaze shifts up. Can you send breath into the space between your shoulder blades here? So you take one more inhale and exhale to release, hands back down to your mat. Now walking the right fingers out to the side of your mat, inhaling left arm up overhead, finding a side body stretch, maintaining length in both sides of the body. Gaze shifts up or down to the mat. Spiraling open your ribs. Dialing down pinky finger. Maintain support through your lower back, not allowing yourself to bound into your back and maintaining as tall of a spine as possible. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to round forward. Left hand comes to right knee. Inhale to find right hand behind you, taking a twist, gaze over left, right shoulder. Can you rotate your navel back towards the front of the mat to deepen the twist as you lengthen on your inhales and deepen the twist on your exhales. Notice how your breath changes here compared to your other positions of your spine. Eventually on your next inhale, taking right arm up overhead, spiraling pinky finger down as you take a side body stretch, still in the twist. Lengthening through fingertips. Maintaining length in both sides of your body, not collapsing into left side body. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to round your back. Right hand comes to left knee, curling all the way over your legs in center. On your inhale, rolling up slowly, finding eagle arms, right arm crossed over left. Palms touch if accessible. Pressing hands up, elbows up, hands away from your face, shoulders down. Finding any amount of opening in your chest that you can, gaze possibly shifting up. Sending breath to any areas of tension, maybe behind your shoulder blades or your upper back. Taking one more inhale, exhale to release arms down to the mat floor, down to your knees. And when you're ready, diving over your feet, we'll come into tabletop pose, finding wrists right under shoulders and knees directly under hips. As you find this pose, take an inhale, and on your exhale, slowly melt back into child's pose. Forehead comes to the mat, chest drops through your arms, melting into the floor. Noticing again how your breath changes in this position. If you can send more breath into the space in your back. If you can feel the breath as your belly expands in between your legs. Eventually activate your fingers, coming up onto tented fingers in front of you. Your head can stay relaxed. Walk your fingers over to the left side of your mat. Maybe right hand crosses on top of left, and relaxing down to the mat for a side body stretch here. Rooting right sit bone back in space to extend the stretch. Take one more breath. And inhale to come back through center, walking now to the right side of your mat. Maybe left hand crosses over right hand. Release your head to the floor. Can you anchor your left hip back? And send breath into any areas of tension here. Eventually walking hands on your inhale back to the center of your mat, releasing down into child's pose. Forehead meets the mat. Release your hips back down towards your heels. Shoulders are relaxed, hips are relaxed. And on your inhale, rolling up into tabletop, all the way to cow pose, dropping belly, gaze shifts up, chest opens. Exhale, press the floor away into cat pose, finding a continuous curve from tailbone to crown of the head. Inhale, back to cow, rotating biceps forward, elbows hug in, arching the back. Exhale through cat, back into child's pose. We'll take that 2 more times at your own breath pace. Inhaling up. Exhale to press the floor away into cat. Inhale to cow. Exhale, shifting back, melting into child's pose. Taking that one more time at your own breath pace. Eventually finding child's pose, allowing yourself a moment of rest here. And when you're ready, inhale back up to neutral tabletop. Exhale to tuck your toes, press back, downward facing dog, heels reach towards the floor, hands press away from the earth. Dialing hips up towards the ceiling. This is your first downward facing dog of the day, so maybe pedaling at your feet. Maybe spiraling one knee to the center of your mat and then the other. Maybe taking a big bend in both of your knees, allowing hips to dial further up towards the sky. Whatever movement it is, taking whatever conscious movement you need here. Eventually taking an inhale and an exhale. Inhale to come forward, releasing knees to floor, finding cow pose again. And exhale to sink back to child's pose. Inhale, coming back up to cow. Arching back, opening chest. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Releasing head into neutral. Inhale, back to cow pose. Exhale, release back, child's pose. Taking that one more time at your own breath. Pulling all the way back to child's pose. And now taking a partial flow of that just to find downward facing dog. Once you find downward facing dog, again, maybe taking some conscious movement here. Finding the pose. When you're ready, rising up high onto the balls of your feet. Shift your weight forward over your hands, coming into plank pose. Stay for the breath. Exhale to bend knees, shifting back, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale to rise. Exhale to shift forward over your hands, plank pose. Open your chest, gaze looks forward. Exhale, bend knees, press back, downward facing dog. Taking one more like that. Inhale to rise up on your toes. Exhale, shift forward over your hands. Exhale, shift back, knees bend, downward facing dog. Take one more neutralizing breath in your downward facing dog. Supporting through your shoulders. And when you're ready, taking an inhale, rising up high on your toes, looking towards the front of your mat. And on the bottom of your exhale, slowly walking hands between feet in Uttanasana, forward fold. Find hands to opposite elbows and ragdoll pose. Maybe finding a little sway here. Allowing the back to waterfall forward, knees bend as much as you'd like. When you're ready, hands meet the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening from tailbone to crown of the head. Exhale to release down. Inhale, bend your knees deeply and slowly roll all the way up to standing into Asana mountain pose. Rolling shoulders up, down, and back, and energizing through fingers. Find a moment of balance here. When you're ready, inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale to deeply bend your knees, swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, coming to fingertips or hands to legs. Exhale to fold, take a large right step back into a runner's lunge. Even your hips, stabilizing through your pelvis as if you could hover your hands off the mat. Open your shoulders. Exhale to release, knee and foot down to the mat. Inhale, arms overhead, Anjaneyasana, knee down crescent. Taking a few breaths here as you inhale to find length up through your fingertips and exhale to sink deeper into the pose. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Energize through your back leg. Step back into plank pose. Stay for the breath. Take an inhale. Exhale to release knees and feet down to the mat and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Hands reposition under shoulders. Inhale, press up, cobra pose, elbows hugging sides. Can you traction your elbows back towards your hips to deepen this back bend? Taking an inhale here. Exhale to release down to the mat. Inhale through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. Eventually taking a large right step forward in between your hands. Again, find the runner's lunge, stabilize your pelvis. Open your shoulders, take an inhale, and on the exhale, release knee and foot down to the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead onto my asana, knee down crescent. Finding a back bend here, gaze shifts up. Finding length through your fingers on your inhale, and a deeper stretch and a deeper back bend on your exhale. Breath is flowing here. Taking one more inhale. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Energize through your back leg and take a large step forward to meet right foot at the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And exhale, hands to heart center. Feel energy balance between right and left side body. And you stay here for a breath. And we'll start taking the other side. Inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale, deep bend in the knees, swan dive forward, hands meet the mat. Inhale, coming to fingertips or anywhere on your legs. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Take a large left step back into a runner's lunge. Stabilize your hips as if you could hover hands off the floor for an inhale. Exhale to release knee and foot down to the mat. Inhale, arms up overhead onto my asana. Exhale, hands come right back down to the mat. Energize through your back foot. Step back into plank pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, release knees and feet down to the ground and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Hands are positioned under shoulders. Inhale, coming up to cobra pose. Elbows hug into sides and traction back towards hips. Open your chest and gaze shift up. Exhale to release down to the mat. Inhale through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few neutralizing breaths in downward facing dog. Eventually inhale for a large left step forward in between your hands. Again, runner's lunge. Hips are stabilizing, chest is opening. Take an inhale, exhale, release knee and foot down to the ground. Inhale, arms overhead. Onto the asana. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Energize through your back foot. Take a large right step forward to meet left foot at the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take a breath here. And on your exhale, let everything release. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a moment here with your hands at heart center. Notice any changes in the body, how heat is generating. Think back to your intention, come back to your breath. When you're ready, arms drop, inhale, arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Exhale, deeply bend your knees, swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, step back to plank pose. Option to continue with knees down cobra or rotate 5 steps forward, shift forward onto your hands and slowly bend your elbows for a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, thighs don't touch the floor. Inhale here, exhale to press back, downward facing dog. Take a moment in your downward facing dog to reset. Think of clawing your finger pads into the floor. It's called Hasta Bandha. It's stabilizing for all arm balances. Think of finding a puff of air under your wrists. Biceps rotate forward. When you're ready, inhale to lift right leg up over the mat. Exhale, take a large right step forward in between your hands. Spiral left heel down. On your inhale, arms overhead, finding warrior one. Take an inhale. Exhale to goal, push your arms, opening your chest. Inhale, clasping hands behind your back, finding a back bend here. Finding even more space in front body. Exhale to fold forward, humble warrior. Releasing hands up overhead. Inhale, arms come back up, warrior one. Exhale, hands meet the mat, rotate back foot down, step back, plank pose. Take your variation of chaturanga or knee down cobra. We meet in downward facing dog. Taking a neutralizing breath in downward facing dog. Inhale, raising left leg now up off the mat. Take a large left step forward in between your hands. Spin right heel down to the mat, finding feet at hips distance, front heel in line with back heel. Inhale, arms up overhead, warrior one. Inhale here. Exhale to go, post your arm. Grabbing hands behind your back. Inhale for a back bend. Maybe palms touch here. Gaze just up. Take an inhale, exhale to fold forward, humble warrior. Releasing your head. Maintaining strength in your legs. Inhale, arms up overhead. Warrior one. Exhale, hands find the floor. Step back, plank pose. Take a vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog. We're going to take that same warrior one flow 2 more times. I'll cue the first time and let you take it at your own breath pace for the second. Now moving at closer to a breath per movement pace. When you're ready, come with me. Inhale to lift the right leg up overhead. Exhale to step through between your hands. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, warrior one. Exhale, gold pulse your arms, finding hands clasping behind your back. Inhale, hands clasped, opening chest. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, arms up, Virabhadrasana one, warrior one. Exhale, hands to the mat, step back to plank pose, take a chaturanga or knees down cobra. We meet in downward facing dog. Pressing through finger pads, heels reaching towards the floor. Pausing downward dog for a few breaths. Inhale to lift left leg up overhead. Exhale, step left leg forward. Inhale, arms overhead, warrior one. Energizing through both feet. Exhale, goal post your arms, finding them crossing behind your back. Inhale, back bend. Open your chest, gaze shifts up. Exhale, humble warrior. Releasing your head. Inhale, arms up overhead, warrior one. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Take a large left step back to plank. Take your vinyasa. We meet in downward facing dog. Take an inhale through your nose. And an exhale through your mouth. And when you're ready, flowing through that again on your own breath pace. If you forget what you're doing, you can watch me. Can you make this movement luxurious and fluid? Taking this as slow or as fast as you want. Whenever you find yourself in a downward dog, option to take as many breaths there as you'd like. When you finish, finding yourself in downward facing dog, take a few breaths either in downward facing dog or in child's pose. For either some neutralizing or some restorative breaths. When you're ready, we find ourselves back in downward facing dog. Heels press down, finger pads press the floor away. Step your feet together to big toes touch at the back of your mat. Inhale, raising right leg up overhead, hips stacked on top of hip. Find a puff of air under left shoulder, finding stability through your arms. Option 2, bend your knee, finding some length in this hip. If it's part of your practice and feels good to you, option to flip your dog here. Thinking of going over something into the back bend. Eventually on an inhale, coming back to three-legged dog. Exhale to step leg through to between your hands. Rotate back leg out. Front heel is in line with the middle of your back foot. Finding a 90-degree bend in the front knee. Inhale to rise. Exhale to settle, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Option to release, right hand down to the mat. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel hands to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale to take knees down cobra or chaturanga to up dog. Eventually finding downward facing dog. Now stepping feet together. Inhale, left leg stacks on top of right, hips stacking on top of each other. A puff of air under right armpit. Stabilizing shoulders, finding equal weight in both hands. Maybe bending this knee to open your hip more. If it's in your practice, thinking of diving over something to find your flip dog. Keeping energy in fingertips if you remove them from the mat. And eventually on an inhale, coming back to three-legged dog. Exhale to step left leg forward in between your hands, spiraling back foot down. Inhale to rise, exhale, settle, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Breath is flowing. Maybe you open left arm down to the floor. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, cartwheel down to the mat. Step left foot back into plank. Take a chaturanga or a knees down cobra. If your thighs ever touch the ground, taking a cobra instead of an upward facing dog to protect your lower back. And eventually finding downward facing dog, equal energy in hands and feet. Taking a few neutralizing breaths. When you're ready, we'll take that flow 2 more times at a breath through movement, breath to movement pace. You're welcome to take that at your own pace or to follow me. Stepping feet together at the back of your mat. Inhale, right leg stacks on top of left. Exhale, right leg steps in between your hands, rotating back foot out. Inhale to rise, exhale, settle, warrior 2. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Gaze spiraled up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel, hands meet the mat. Step back to plank pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale to take chaturanga to up dog or knees down cobra. Eventually we find downward facing dog. For a few neutralizing breaths. When you're ready for the other side, walking feet together, inhale. Left leg lifts, stacking hip on top of hip. Inhale, exhale, step forward between your hands. Spiral back leg out. Inhale to rise, exhale, settle, warrior two. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, side angle. Spiraling open, right rib cage. Inhale to reverse. Exhale, cartwheel, hands meet the mat, step back into plank pose. Take your variation here. We meet in downward facing dog. Once you find yourself back in downward facing dog, take that again at your own breath pace. Again, seeing how much you can luxuriate through the movement. Finding a Tai Chi kind of quality of movement. Can you find a 90-degree bend in your front knee on your warrior two? Making sure to step your feet together before lifting one leg into the air. Taking this as slow or as fast as you'd like. Listening to your body to take variations that feel good to you. And eventually finding yourself in downward facing dog and taking a few breaths in either downward facing dog or child's pose. Wherever you end up, allowing chest to melt forward. And when you're ready, finding downward facing dog. Taking a few more breaths. On your inhale, rising up high onto the balls of your feet and slowly walking forward in between your hands. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, come to fingertips or hands to legs, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, bending knees. Inhale, arms overhead, Urdhva Sthana, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking a moment here to balance energy between right and left side body. Taking inventory of the effects of your practice so far. When you're ready, walk your feet together so big toes are touching. Inhale for a deep bend in your knees, arms sweep up overhead, finding chair pose. Weight shifts back into your heels as you inhale to find leg. Exhale to sink a little bit deeper. When you're ready, and if you'd like to join me, shifting weight to the left leg, pop your right heel up off the mat, take it and tap your right foot back behind you. Take an inhale, and on your exhale, how slowly can you tip forward into warrior three? Option to find hands to blocks here, dialing back toes down. Eventually finding left hand to the mat, thumb in line with your pinky finger, opening your back hip, bringing right arm through heart, and opening to half moon pose. Gaze can stay towards the ground or can open up to the sky or side of the mat. Exhale to come back down, finding standing split. Leg goes high. Taking one more inhale and standing split. Exhale to dial toes back down, warrior three. Legs. Take a deep bend in your front knee and step back into a crescent lunge. Feet are open on train tracks at hips distance. Inhaling arms overhead into your Anjaneyasana crescent lunge. Finding a back bend here. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Take a large right step forward to meet left leg at the front of the mat. Release into your forward fold for a moment. Maybe finding ragdoll again with opposite hand to opposite elbow. Let it all go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Ardha Hastasana, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking the other side. Feet heel toe together, big toes touch. Inhale, deeply bend your knees, finding Utkatasana, chair pose. Hit six deep, toes are free. Finding length on your inhales, sinking a little bit deeper on your exhales. If you'd like to join me, shifting weight into your right foot. Pop the heel of your left foot and slowly tap your left foot back behind you. Take an inhale here. How slowly can you tilt forward into warrior three? Heel is toes are dialing down. Slight bend in the front knee. Option to come and find blocks under your hands. Trying to test your balance. Giving yourself permission to come in and out of this pose as much as you'd like. Eventually finding your right hand to the ground, thumb in line with left, right pinky toe. Bring your hand through your heart and open to half moon. You will probably find one side is significantly harder than the other. Eventually rotating hips back to neutral, extending leg high up into standing split. Maybe one or both hands come to your right ankle. And eventually dialing toes down, finding warrior three legs. Take a deep bend in your front knee, step back, crescent lunge. Finding strength in your legs. Inhale, arms overhead. Finding a slight back bend. Exhale, hands to the mat, step forward to the front of your mat in Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Just let yourself hang here. Allowing gravity to traction out your spine. Eventually, walk your hands out as far as you can in front of your mat. As if you're going towards downward facing dog, start to bend your knees deeply, keeping weight forward over your toes until you have squatted and your heels are almost touching your hips. When you're there, if you can, slowly rock back onto your hips, coming to find a seated position. Take a moment here to reset. Find feet at hip distance, knees pointing up to the sky. Breathe. When you're ready, shifting slightly back, coming up maybe to the tips of your toes. We're going towards Navasana boat pose. Any variations, maybe legs come up to parallel with the floor. Maybe hands release, palms facing up. Maybe legs extend. Wherever you are, sending energy through fingertips and feet. Maybe arms come up overhead. As you breathe, finding energy through fingertips and feet. Inhale. Exhale, one. Inhale. Exhale, two. Inhale. Exhale, three. Inhale to find a little extra length. Exhale, how slowly can you roll down all the way to your back? Lowering feet to the ground and head and shoulders to the ground. Eventually finding relaxation here. Coming to bend your feet, knees pointing up to the ceiling. Arms come wide to a T. Allow your knees to rock back and forth, windshield wipering from side to side. Releasing your lower back. When you're ready, finding heels close to your hips, arms down by your side. We're going to take a variation of bridge. We're going to take some waving bridges. So on your inhale, raising your hips up, bringing your arms as well until your arms go all the way back behind your head, touching the floor. Exhale, arms press your hips back down. Finding the floor, taking this at your own breath pace. Inhale, arms and hips flat, rise. Finding the floor behind you. Exhale, rolling back down. One vertebrae hits the floor at a time until your hips and hands meet the floor at the same time. We'll flow through this a few more times at your own breath pace. Taking one more inhale, lifting hips and hands. It's time to suspend for a moment. Take one more inhale, lifting your hips a little bit higher. And exhale to release down to the mat, hands and hips. Resist the urge to hug knees into chest. Instead, taking a variation of Supta Baddha Konasana, finding toes together, knees wide. If it's accessible to you, finding your hands wrapping around the outsides of your feet, as if you're sitting in Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. You're laying on your back, maybe hugging your feet in towards your chest a little bit as knees go out wide. Option to stay here or to slightly extend your knees, finding happy baby. Hands to the outsides of your feet. Maybe you shift back and forth. Maybe extending one leg and then the other. Finding whatever movement feels good here. And eventually releasing the grip on your feet. With your hands, press knees together, curling them in towards your chest. Finally taking, maybe curling your head up, finding a tiny little ball here. Eventually releasing head and neck back to the ground, feet meet the mat, knees pointing up. Grab your right knee and pull it into your chest gently. Maybe finding a little bit of movement here, releasing your hip. When you're ready, extending right leg up overhead, finding hands anywhere on the back of your leg to find a hamstring stretch. When you're in the pose, press your right leg against your hands as if you're trying to bend it and push it away from your body to activate the stretch. Does this slight contraction allow you to come a little bit further into the pose? Making sure to maintain a micro bend in your knee. Option to stay here or to extend the left leg long on your mat, energizing through your foot, flexing toes up to the ceiling. Wherever you are, inhale. Exhale, rising, curling your chest up, finding knee towards nose. Exhale, rolling back down to the mat. Inhale to curl up. Exhale to release. Taking one more inhale, rolling up. And exhale, release. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, both feet come back to the mat, knees pointing up. Take a moment here to notice difference between right and left side body as we take the other side. Come to pull left knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze. Maybe massage it around in your hip joint. Eventually flex your left foot and extend it up towards the ceiling, finding hands anywhere behind the leg that is accessible to you. Energize through your left leg, pressing against your hands, finding resistance in the stretch. Maybe this allows you to come a little bit deeper. Maintaining a micro bend in your knee. Maybe staying here or extending right leg long, energizing through the bottom of your foot. When you're ready, inhale to find nose towards your knee, curling shoulders up off the mat. Exhale to release back down. Elbows go wide as you curl up on an inhale. Exhale, releasing back down to the mat. One more time, inhale, forehead towards your knee. Exhale to release. Staying here for one more inhale. Exhale, releasing both feet down to the floor, knees pointing up. Take your arms out wide to a T, your windshield wiper legs from side to side. Releasing your lower back. When you're ready, your knees come towards your chest. Shift your hips a couple inches to the right and slowly allow your legs to release to the left side of your mat. For a reclined twist, right shoulder melts towards the mat. If your legs have stopped moving, maybe your gaze shifts over right hand. Taking this moment in a restorative posture, come back to your breath. Allow it to be deep and full. Eventually, gaze shifts back up to the ceiling. Slowly hug knees closer and towards your chest as you slowly roll back onto your back. Trying to make this movement as slow and controlled as possible. Feet come to the mat and you readjust your hips into neutral. When you're ready, finding knees again towards your chest, shifting hips a couple inches to the left. Slowly allow your knees to release to the right side of your body. Once your legs have finished moving, maybe your gaze shifts over the left hand. Left shoulder melting down to the mat. Can your breath increase the spiral in your spine? When you're ready, gaze shifts back up to the ceiling. Slowly curl your knees further in towards your chest before rolling back onto your back. Slowly releasing feet to the ground, re-neutralizing your hips. Take a moment here, maybe hugging your knees in towards your chest again, taking yourself into a little tiny ball, head curling towards your knees. Take a moment to find any other conscious movement in a cool down fashion. And when you're ready, come to find Shavasana, lying on your back. Legs and arms long. Palms face up. Allow your feet to release out. If you're not already there, make your way towards Shavasana. One more time, tuning back into your breath. Seeing if you can release any more with your exhales. Take one more deep inhale. And with an exhale, allow your eyes to flutter closed or gaze softens. Allow your physical body to relax, melting into the floor. Release your shoulders, your hips, legs, arms, fingers. Release your back. Release your neck, your jaw, your eyebrows, crown of your head, the muscles behind your eyes. Let everything relax into this pose. Allowing breath to return to its natural rhythm, releasing all control. Notice any changes in your physical body from the start of class to now. With again, no judgment, just observation and awareness. Now coming back to check in with your thoughts. And eventually, again, taking note of what you perceive to be your emotional or energetic body. Noticing all of this and taking inventory with awareness. Not trying to fix anything, just observing. Feel your body melting into the floor. Is there any way that you can release a little bit more? I breathe in all that is. Awareness expanding to take everything in, as if my heart beats the world into being. From the unnamed vastness beneath the mind, I breathe my way into wholeness and healing. Inhalation, exhalation, each breath a yes and a letting go, a journey and a coming home. When you're ready, start to deepen your breath. Start to allow subtle movements back into the body, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe circling ankles and wrists. Maybe massaging the back of your head on the mat, shaking your head from side to side. If it feels good to you, taking a big morning stretch, arms overhead, legs extending long. Eventually come to lay on your right side, using your right arm as a pillow, curling knees into chest. Take a moment on your side to think back to the intention that you set. And regardless of whether or not you found this in your practice, reflecting on what you did get in out of your practice, if there were any gems, and eventually finding a moment of gratitude to yourself for showing up on the mat, for your body for carrying you through this practice, and for this practice and everything that it has to offer us on and off the mat. When you're ready, press into your left hand, come up to a seated position, finding Sukhasana, legs are crossed. Your hands can rest on your knees, or if you'd like to join me, bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of light, and of peace. When you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one. If you'd like to join me, bringing thumb knuckles to third eye center, we'll seal this practice with the blessing of Namaste. Namaste. Thank you for your practice.